to the Maricopa County Sheriff's debate. Thank you all for coming. These gentlemen also should be commended for coming. Showing up to meet the people that are going to vote for you is very important in the political process, and then showing up should be worthy of you choosing one of them to vote for this year.
Yes.
If this is your first time at Arizona State University, welcome to our brand new building, and thank you all for paying taxes to support it. My name's Brian Collier, and I teach history here at the university, and I'm also graduate student president at the university. And I thank all our guests here this evening. The only, my pet peeve always when I watch debates on TV.
About 27 years, and had a wonderful career doing broadcasting, doing events like that. I've always been motivated to look and analyze what happens politically with people who decide to run, with people who tell you they'll do something, with opportunities to become U.S. Congressman. I work with Bill Salmon, and I analyze many times how would I affect anything that happened in my home state if I went and participated as a congressman. I never felt that I would be able to give of myself something that would make a difference in my home state immediately. And I like to see things happen within a year or two. My decision to run for the office of Maricopa County Sheriff was not an easy one. I had deliberated with, again, Matt Salmon on the opportunities in front of us and the pitfalls that a person has to go through because you publicly put your name up and say, I would like to serve you. I would like to make things better for the people here in our neighborhoods and our communities. Little background, I in 1988 joined the Maricopa County Sheriff's Jeep Posse. I went out, I trained, I qualified, I was involved in many search and rescue programs, and from those programs had a chance to find out how field officers, not only county but state and city officers, react to support from the community. I designed a program for police officers called the Police Toy Drive. We have distributed over 1 million toys through the hands of policemen in our state. We have a warehouse in Tucson, Phoenix, and Flagstaff. I also designed a program that is called the Police Memorial Program. Every officer that you hear that's killed in the line of duty should be remembered somewhere in their community. So we build these memorials. We have built 5. And unfortunately, we have about 14 more to build just to cover the major cities in Arizona. So our police officers are dying. When people in policing, when uniformed street officers, the street guy or the street girl is someone that comes to you and says, we've got to get rid of this guy, this sheriff. They told me of the issues and the problems that they had. They tell me about being off their duty spot, wherever it may be. One incident in Maryville, 5 officers patrol Maryville. If they get a person in custody they need to take in, it takes them anywhere from 3 to 5 hours to book one person. That means that you cut almost 50% of your police force down in a high-risk area. As far as the elements that you're going to talk about tonight, the questions you're going to ask, I am happy to answer in and staff, experts in every field of law enforcement. The reason we vote for a sheriff as a...
said that a society is judged by the treatment of its prisoners. If this is so, then we are a nation of drooling psychopaths, self-promoters, where dignity is regularly traded for exploitation, and rehabilitation is just a word some people in suits throw around, without any idea of its definition or to protect us citizens of Maricopa County. Tent city, underwear, green baloney, trucks with anti-aircraft guns, chain gangs, senior citizens on horseback, restraint, only provide a smokescreen for the MCSO's inability to effectively catch the criminals Joe Arpaio is so proud of mistreating. This emphasis on the treatment of prisoners, as opposed to the treatment of crime, has gotten us nowhere. And all we have to show for Joe Arpaio's barbaric nonsense is one of the highest crime and recidivism rates in the country. The current administration doesn't protect us. It just provides a 3-ring distraction while the fat hands of Arpaio and his cronies raid the cookie jar that is our hard-earned tax dollars. Joe Arpaio says he saves us money, but doesn't provide the numbers to back up his claims. The reason is simple. He's lying. The truth is that our spending is on the same level as the national average. So where does the money go? I'd start with checking the pockets of Arpaio's overinflated staff. Then move on to his idiotic programs such as chain gangs and the anti-terrorism truck with a gun on it. And end with lawsuits that Arpaio's money-saving, cruel, and unusual punishment provide. But you might say to yourself, he must be doing a good job. Why else would he remain in office for 12 years? The answer is simple. Nobody's voting. Just about half the eligible voters in the last election actually voted, and it was far from a landslide. If voter apathy and confusion over having both the presidential and the county election on different dates in the same month can be shook off, I'm confident the administration will be unseated this time. But why should you vote for me over a field of well-qualified and experienced lawmen? Because law enforcement is a public service to the citizens. The chasm between the citizens and their police has grown far too vast. And somewhere along the line, to protect and serve became to oppress and exploit. Not just here, but across the entire nation. The citizens have grown to fear the ones that are here to protect them. And if you don't believe me, I ask you to recall the last time you're on your way to work or school and a cop pulled behind you. If you're anything like myself or anyone I've spoken to, your stomach dropped and your mind automatically filled with dread and paranoia. Even if you weren't committing a crime, because you know if they want to pull you over, they'll find a perfectly legal reason to pull you over. And from there, who knows what might happen. What I hope to do is work for a more symbiotic relationship between the police and the community. One where the people and the police work together instead of against each other. Where the common man is represented somewhere besides the tents and restraint chairs. When elected, my first act in office shall be to order a thorough investigation of the previous administration. So hopefully Arpaio and his suckerfish will get to experience a well-run prison firsthand. After that, a full review of upper management for efficiency and cost effectiveness. There's a lot of fat in the upper brass that needs to be trimmed. And a lot of good cops working for terrific brown nosers. I myself shall take a $25,000 a year pay cut. From there, the future is open. The possibilities are limitless. I don't claim to have all the solutions, and I suspect the full breadth of what might be wrong is kept from the average citizen like you and myself. But I look forward to working with both the public and law enforcement to correct it. I'm Henry McLeod, and I want to be your next sheriff.
Grateful to be here tonight to speak to the students, some of the students here from the university, and it's nice to see that you're taking an active role in your future. My name is Dan Saban. I am a candidate, or a Republican candidate for sheriff of Maricopa County. Just want to say a few things about myself and then lay out my platform a little bit. And I'm really anxious to get to the questions because that's our chance to express to you our opinions and our desires and answer the questions that are strong on your heart tonight. I am a native Arizonan. My lovely wife, Dawn, and I have a blended family of 5 daughters, 2 granddaughters, and we finally got a grandson. And we've been trying to put him back ever since. The boys are way different than girls. Education-wise, I do have a bachelor's degree from Arizona State University in Justice Studies and a master's degree from NAU in Human Relations. I'm a 28-year veteran of law enforcement. I just recently retired after 28 years of service. I retired as a commander with the Mesa Police Department in charge of the Field Operations Bureau for the East Valley and Williams Gateway Airport. You know, one of the things, before I switched to Mesa in 1979 after working as a deputy sheriff in Maricopa County and as a detention officer in the jail. One of the things I get asked immediately is, why on earth would you want to run for sheriff against Joe Arpaio? And I can tell you honestly, it takes me about that long to make up my mind, and it's because I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated as a taxpayer and I'm frustrated as a professional with the inefficiency and the ineffectiveness that are currently being displayed within this Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. It's very simple when you have the executive level experience to audit their organization and see very clearly that they're lacking in partnerships, resource management, and quality service. It's unimaginable to me as a law enforcement executive to see that we have a sheriff's department that lacks partnerships with the Board of Supervisors, labor, the community in general, and other law enforcement agencies. As the third largest sheriff's office in the nation, those partnerships are critical to effective law enforcement. No single law enforcement agency can do effective law enforcement by themselves. Quality service, I can tell you as a district commander in the East Valley, where Mesa borders the county islands, there were times that we were taking anywhere from 50 to 90 calls a month for the county because they're so understaffed. Those men and women are out there putting their life on the line and they're by themselves. That puts a drain on the city resources. I've talked to chiefs in the West Valley that are experiencing the very same problems where the county's not responding to calls for service. The average response time to violent crimes in the county is 10.5 minutes. That's the average. So if you're being victimized of a violent crime, there's a 10.5-minute response time. That's unacceptable. Another thing that frustrates me is that they're currently 350 detention officers short in the jail. They're on a mandatory 6-day work week at one of the jails, but yet they'll find 7 detention officers out to do a chain gang because it's a publicity stunt. That frustrates me as a professional. But basically, I'm anxious to get into the questions. I'm here to offer another choice to you in September when you make that vote, and I want to utilize my professionalism and my experience to give you a quality service to bring back the efficiency and effectiveness to make this a good place to live again. Thank you.
I'm going to go over here. I appreciate all the comments and things, but I want to ask you a few questions. But first of all, I'd like to introduce my bride of 28 years, Adele, the mother of our 9 kids and soon to be 20 grandkids. There are some photos up there if anybody wants to take a look. But my name is Tom Barrett, and I'm a former Chief Executive Officer at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and I was inside and understand the problems that are there. Dan, my friend, is stated that he's frustrated. I was so frustrated that I said I walked away from the money that I was receiving and my career that I was building for a job that didn't pay me much of anything at all. But I'm going to ask you some rhetorical questions right now. Who has been in the news recently that has been identified as a dictator by many people? Who do people identify as an evildoer? Who is known for destroying the careers of dedicated men and women? Who is known as a tyrant who needs to be removed from office? Who has photos of himself in every place that he can find? Who would have built a statue of himself if only he could? Who thinks that he is not accountable to the people that placed him in office? And who lied to the people of Maricopa County saying that he was only going to run 1 term? Who is running a law enforcement office with his own personal secret police department? Who needs to be removed from office because he has his own secret police doing his dirty work?
Yeah.
His name is Joe Arpaio, and it's time for Joe to go, I promise you.
Yes.
Are we any safer because of the current administration? No. We need deputies and detention officers and civilian employees badly today. Not dog and pony shows. Not smoke and mirrors. Some of the following is some statistics so you will be aware of what's going on in this county. 2001 FBI Uniform Crime Information Report. Maricopa County is compared to the United States in offenses per 100,000 people. Murder in Maricopa County, where you live, is 50% higher. Robbery is 32% higher. Aggravated assault is 5% higher. Auto theft is 173% higher. And as my friend W said, we are #1 in the nation right now in Maricopa County. Burglary is 53% higher. Larceny is 43% higher. And in Arizona, now ladies, listen to this. A woman is raped every 5 hours and 31 minutes, according to DPS crime stats in Arizona in 2002 report. Now, Joe Arpaio will tell you that he's tough on crime. 3% of the arrests in Maricopa County are from Maricopa County Sheriff's deputies. 3%. He's not tough on crime. He might be tough on Hinton if he was in there, and he might be tough. He knows from the inside out. But I want you to understand, Joe Arpaio is not saving the taxpayers' money. Joe Arpaio is abusing and the system, abusing you, and taking the money that we provide as taxpayers to do professional law enforcement for his own greedy position. And I'm telling you, it's time for Joe to go. Some of the things that I'd like to do, and I'm going to touch real quickly. I don't know how much time I have. I'm going to open up the sheriff's office and return it to the people. I'm going to restore honesty, dignity, and integrity to that office. I'm going to provide open books to the public so that you can see where your money's being spent. And I've called for an independent audit of all funds, public and posse. I will put more deputies in the field and detention officers in the jails. I will ensure safer working conditions in patrol and in the jails. I'm going to reevaluate every program within the office and keep the ones that can be justified. I will reallocate the sheriff's office budget to provide the public the mandated services that we are required to provide. I will replace the 24 current deputy chiefs. I will look at any area where there is duplication of service. I will get out of the animal control business and do what is mandated for the sheriff's office to do. I will be the sheriff of the people and for the people. And I tell you this, I have no desire to be a movie star. Because when you're short and fat, nobody wants to watch you on television. But I want you to know something. It's time for a change. We just replaced the tyrant in another country. And I'm going to tell you right here, if you knew how bad all of your civil rights are being violated right now, you wouldn't even sit where you're at. You'd get up off of it, get out to vote, get your friends to vote, and make a change. Thank you for the opportunity to talk.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to take questions here in just a moment, but I want to give everybody that's on the floor a chance to fill in these seats. So we'll take a 1-minute break, and those of you that have questions, if you can pass them to the end so we can collect them, that would be great. So everybody.
The luck of the draw. If you're in a troubled area and there are a lot of people with lowriders around, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to stop people with lowrider vehicles. And you may think that that's profiling, but it's neighborhood policing, and where there's a troubled area, there are more officers there. The answer I give you is it would not happen with me. It would not happen within our tent situation, incarceration, or in the cell area supporting me. I would only tell you that there are many of them who have told us, we don't want to drop our support, we're going to stay with you. And at this point, I won't be able to tell you who they are since I am not in the primary, and the majority of the people involved prefer that it stays under the cover until after the primary is over. I've released them all, though, if they want to go and support another candidate. I've offered them both of these gentlemen's names and told them they are free to make that choice.
I'm endorsed by absolutely no one.
What are your mom and dad like? You want to
I think I'm more towards Iola. I don't feel that's important, really. You know, it's the endorsement of the people that you need. You know, organizations, people that have been doing this forever. You know, it's good to have them, but I don't want them out. You know.
That's it? You know, endorsements are important to me. They really are, and I've been so blessed with my law enforcement career. I've been very active in the East Valley and in East Mesa as a volunteer and grassroots efforts. And I can tell you, I'm going to clump my two endorsements. They're going to be groups of people. One is labor. I think it's critical that you have to have the respect and trust of employees that work in that organization so that they can believe that you're going to make that place better. And that will help with the retention and recruiting issues when it comes down the line to keep that place effective. The other is the community endorsements that I have. Labor and community to me, in the law enforcement perspective, it's a quality of life position, and those are critical links, and those are my two favorite endorsements overall. Is a healthy relationship with the community so that you can meet their needs. That's the way I was raised professionally. That's all I know. So I would say my two favorite endorsements are labor as a group and the law enforcement community and community in itself and the endorsements that I have.
My endorsements are relatively limited other than to the general public. I think that we're building a grassroots campaign where people like you and I, people that see something, see a problem, want to change something. That's what's going to make a change. I appreciate and respect the organizations, the employee groups, and I respect where they're coming from. And I appreciate the fact that they've decided to support somebody. They never gave me an opportunity to even talk to, but that's okay, because I want you. I want you, the average person. I was going to say average Joe, but I don't like that. I want you guys to understand that the reason that you elect the sheriff is because you have a finger on that position. Never allow the sheriff to be appointed, because this is your right to vote for the person in law enforcement that represents you as the sheriff of this county. I want to garner whatever support I can from the community as a whole. And I believe that even though I don't have a banner that says all the people that support me, I have a tremendous cross-section of people, from the little guy on the street to the doctors that's taking care of us in the hospitals. Various people, political people, non-political people. So my aspect, my thinking is just simply this. I am going to be a sheriff that serves the people, period. I have no priorities. I don't have any allegiances to anybody in particular. I want to be the sheriff that does the service for everybody.
And the last question. If you had to choose one of these other people to be the next sheriff, who would you choose and why? That's my question, in fact.
That's your question?
Yes.
That's me. That's a ridiculous question. That's we're all up here. As long as it's not our bio, I could care less. I'm all for me, basically. Whoever shows ahead, that's where I go. As long as it's not our bio, good. I vote for that table right there.
I have to echo that that's a pretty tough question to try to answer in this setting. I can tell you that I think all the men sitting at this table have qualities that are very effective in their own ways and can offer options to all of us here. And I think that's your right to choose that. What you think this position needs and what you think the qualities that you see here tonight are what you see in us. So I'm going to be like him. I'm going to say me. I'm the only one I feel that can meet the needs and can clean this place up for you the most effectively and the most quickly. So that's what I would say, is I would pick me. My wife loves me.
Well, I think I'm going to pick me. You know, this is what America is all about. It's the opportunity for people to come here and stand before you. I have to tell you something. The sheriff of this county is not here. There's a reason. Because he doesn't want to face this. We're here because we are sincerely interested in what you have to say. Even the President of the United States recognizes the importance of having a debate, of being able to sit in front of the people they're going to represent. The good, the bad, the ugly, it all comes. I believe, just like these gentlemen believe, I believe I have the qualities of leadership to restore integrity, to restore pride in the organization, to restore ethics to the organization, to do the things that we need to do to bring this back to the #1 law enforcement agency that it should be. We used to be recognized as one of the top law enforcement agencies in the United States. In fact, internationally, they would come here to train with us. They don't today. They laugh. They joke about the guy with the pink shorts. I'm going to tell you something. Any one of us at this table would be better than what's there right now. And it's going to be in your hands, and I'm going to challenge you. Get up off of it. Get on with it. Stand up. I don't care if you support any one of these guys. I like them all. We might have a different opinion on different issues. But I'm going to tell you, I believe that these gentlemen have some integrity. And there is none there now.
Well, since everybody is voting for themselves, I think I'll stay in that kind of arena there. The reality
I got $1 now. Give me $1.
The reality is, the person who is our next sheriff needs to make wise decisions. Not just, well, I'll take you because you're a challenger, I'll take you because I owe you, oh, your group supported me, so I'll take you. I have no allegiance to anyone. I will choose the very best command staff. My gift is organization. There are people at this table that I would consider in very high positions. But there are also people at this table that, well, never. The reality is that everybody has something to contribute, and there's something that you do better than anyone else. I am currently going through files and looking at people. My first focus is to hire officers who work for the Sheriff's Department, who have stayed through all of the garbage they have to go through. The second one is to look at people, candidates who care, people who are really gifted in specific areas of incarceration, finance, training, and bring the police departments together as teams and make the Sheriff's Department the department it was 10 years ago.
And finally, we'll give you each 5 minutes to state your case, starting with Mr. Vera and concluding with Mr. Miller.
I'm just going to say this. I was born and raised in Phoenix. I'm a kid that ran away from home, abusive home whenever I was young. Slept in a park in Sunnyside. Had a tough time in my life. Got in a lot of trouble as a teenager. And then I went into the military and it changed my life. Changed my attitude to things. Started making me think about, I can be successful. I don't have to be the loser that I've been. I have an opportunity to flip that switch in my mind and change things. From there, I've been a city mayor, police officer for many, many years. Was nominated for ambassador to Korea, even though I didn't get the position. I ended up one of the 3 finalists. I was 34 years old. I also spent 7 years working with President Reagan, and I had an opportunity. And I remember, this might sound corny, but this is America, only in America. I remember standing in the Oval Office with tears in my eyes as I thought about sleeping on a piece of cardboard in a stupid park. And how I had the opportunity to get up and fight the fight and never give up. And go seek dreams that I never thought were possible in my life. And I tell you this, regardless of what the circumstances might be today, even at one time I was Sheriff Arpaio's strongest supporter. But I'm the one that uncovered the pink short problems. And I could not, like many of the deputy chiefs that are there, I had a very high-paying position. Could not close my eyes to that. I had to stop and walk away from my dream. My bride and I have 9 children, as I said, and almost 20 grandkids. And it would have been much easier to stay there, shut my mouth, draw my $100,000 a year, and not do anything. But we chose to fight the fight. And I refuse to this day to allow this guy to intimidate me and my family. Our telephones have been tapped. We've been under surveillance. What in the world is the Sheriff of Maricopa County doing that to me and my family? And I'm standing up for you, because if he will do it to me, he will do it to you. And I promise you, if the opportunity ever presents itself from an independent investigation, these little guys will have their hips in their own pink shorts. They will go to jail because they're wrong. This is America. This is what we went and fought in Vietnam for. This is what we did to stand up for the beliefs. There is a presumption of innocence till proven guilty. Joe thinks everybody's guilty, and they might be. But I'm saying I'm going to uphold the law. I'm saying that I'm going to be honest with you, the community, the public. That I'm going to address the issues head on, not just whenever it looks good for me. To take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I want to tell you how much I sincerely appreciate each one of you being here, because this is a good group. You ought to be applauded for being here. Because there are so many people out here that we go to speak at, nobody shows up. And I commend you for standing up and saying, wait, I want to hear more. Instead of listening to the rhetoric that comes out of that sheriff's office. They have 2 PR firms that are just dedicated to spinning. I don't have any spin. What you see is what you get, man. I'm not tall, dark, and handsome like these guys.
Thank you.
These 2 guys here. What I am saying, though, is this. Number 1, get out, get involved in one of our campaigns. Naturally, I would appreciate it to be mine. Naturally, I would appreciate that you would go out and you would vote and exercise that right. And I would also appreciate the fact that if you have a couple bucks, I'm not a rich guy. I got 9 kids. And I could use a couple bucks to throw in my campaign. But I'm going to tell you this, and this is the promise, and it's not a political politician promise. I'm going to give you my heart. I'm going to give you my heart to serve to the best of my ability, to give you the honesty and integrity that I stand for. Thank you very much.
Again, I just want to say I'm grateful that you took the time out of your life to come here tonight and to hear what we have to say. You folks are in a critical position, and it amazes me to this day that the media hasn't picked up on this controversy, and they will not attack or hold Joe accountable, and we have to. Because what's happening is a lot of things are going wrong that you're not made aware of and you're not aware of, and we have got to step up, and that's why you see so many people running against an incumbent. Because we need to bring back law enforcement as the main focus of the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and not deciding who the next governor of the state is. Okay? What's happened is the law enforcement part of this job has been left to go. And that's what I bring you. I bring you 28 years of experience at all levels of law enforcement, executive down to troops. And I'll bring back the efficiency and effectiveness of this organization and the pride that we would all have in an organization that's well run. And I'll be known over at the legislature because I'm helping getting youth and family laws, domestic violence laws, community issues, law enforcement rights. That's what I'll be famous for, not deciding who the next governor is. But I'm telling you, as I stand here today, that the sheriff's position is a quality of life position that affects every single one of us. And it's our safety and our community and our desires to live in a safe environment in all levels of the city and county. And this, to me, this race is as critical, if not as critical, as the presidential race of this state, of this nation. And we're not getting any press from this. And it just breaks my heart that this is a huge issue. So I'm asking you to get behind one of us, like Tom said. Put your heart into it. Get on our websites, get on our campaign, write letters to the editor, do what you can to motivate the media to start taking notice of what you're doing here tonight. Because these are hard, true facts that need to be put out there. And we're all running our legs off every night doing this very same thing for that reason. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being involved and having a desire to be a part of this thing. I'm excited for the change. I guarantee you we're going to have a change this time. Joe's vulnerable. There's enough people out there that are just sick of this man and what's going on. Yay. So I'm asking you. Consider that I bring a business perspective. I've got the networking, I've got the contacts, I've got the experience. That's what I bring for you, and I ask that you consider me to be your next sheriff of Maricopa County. Thank you.
You know, the one thing that a lot of us have...
Excuse me.
Here's another cute guy.
Oh, no problem.
You're used to it.
Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight. It's amazing there's even this show. It doesn't seem like anybody really cares about us anymore. People have been living in fear of this guy for so long. Nobody even bothers to try to stop him, except for us up here, pretty much, of course. And basically what we have here isn't an election for the show. We have a fight against apathy and fear. We have a disgusting situation here where our civil rights are being destroyed every single day and sold to fat bastards who have no care as to what they do with us or how we live whatsoever. As sheriff, will fight for your rights. I'll stand up for the common man, as opposed to what we have now, which is basically just lining pockets at the expense of every single one of us. Right now, every single one of us is being threatened. At any time. You step over the line, we're going to put you in pink underwear. You know, what is that? Has anybody ever decided, I'm not going to rob this store because I might have to wear pink underwear? It's ridiculous. And all you see, basically, you'll see Joe Arpaio on CNN, but you won't see him here talking to the voters. You'll see him talking about chain gangs, whatever, to promote himself, but you won't see him here explaining it to you people, the voters. It's disgusting, and it needs to be changed. And no matter who you vote for somebody. That's what's important. Nobody voted in the last one. He would have been out. You know, he lost 30% of the vote. Anybody could have taken him if people had actually shown up and voted. If people would stand up, or Martin could give him the creeps.
right, I never thought. One thing I wanted to tell you is, first of all, how important it is, and one of the fine points they brought out is you are the answer to the Sun City vote. If you don't go and register and make a difference, people who don't vote for school bonds, people who don't vote for supporting students, they vote for Joe Arpaio. When a man or a woman in their home thinks it's more important to take care of a dog or a cat than a child or a mother who's on drugs or someone who's in Tent City, or a person who's lost their life in Tent City because they didn't conform to the gangs that are in our tents. More people die at Tent City than in our prisons. You need to go and vote. I brought voter registration. You guys have some out front. When I made the decision to run as an independent, it wasn't easy. By our polls, Joe Arpaio has 41% with 5% either way. I had 28%. And for me to turn around and walk away from the Republican Party meant that I had to start all over. I took 2,500 signatures that I had walked the streets and said, I can't win this way. I'm taking votes from these two guys and maybe a couple from you. I'll give you a job doing that garbage can. You're taking votes away from people who will have a chance. If there was ever a great scenario in politics, if one of these guys does not get in, I will be there in the general election. I have been a Republican for the last 45 years, and we will make a difference. It will happen. We need to take care of getting this man out of office, and this is an opportunity for us to do it. One of the things that I have to do, and I'm going to challenge any of you that would like to get more involved, I picked up 2,000 signatures in the last 12 days. I need to get 10,000 by June the 3rd, and if you would like to help me, it doesn't say that you vote for me, it says that we need to make sure we have a choice. If one of these guys is not on the ballot because it's a crowded field, and he has a much better chance than any of us, let's make sure we get that opportunity, that we don't lose it in the general election. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to make a difference for you, for your children, for the mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters that go to Tent City and see their family in there. We can do this, but I need your help. We have to outweigh the Sun City heavy vote, and I'm counting on you. I'll be available.
Hey, Jesse.